Hey everybody, welcome back to the Peffly Ranch. I'm Paul, and we're working on our addition still. This is the second video. If you missed the first one, go back and check it. I'll put a little link up for that. But we basically just dug and poured the footers. Today and for the next few days, we're going to be working on doing the block install for all these split face blocks that we have behind us, and building that up and doing the concrete, the piers, the block piers as well. And we've got it all set up, all the strings leveled out and measured out, corners all set, and we're gonna get rolling with that. But I wanted to give you guys a couple things real quick. On the last video, I didn't do anything with the budget or the pricing, so I just wanted to give you a little bit about that. So basically our budget for this project estimated at $25,000 for what we're doing. Again, what we're doing is 650 square feet heated and about 700 something of front porch covered and back deck. And if you were to sub that out, or sorry, just give it to a contractor or a builder, you're probably looking at close to 100 grand. I would guess at like $100 a square foot for heated square footage and $50 a square foot for your decks and porches and things. So anyways, if we can keep it 25 to 30,000, we're saving a good chunk of money. So we're doing this all on our own, me and Tyler, and a little Jake, a little Christy, but we're all helping out and getting it done. So really we're just looking at material costs and things like that. So for the last step, you saw that we just hand dug all of our further ditches and holes. So I did give Tyler some money. I paid him $250, so that cost $250, and then the rest was just labor of us digging. But then for the concrete itself, we ordered a truck with 5 yards of concrete, and that was $940. I think it was like $180 a yard or something like that. You can, I don't think that's the best price, but that's not the worst price. So that's somewhere in the middle. So that's probably a decent average, I would guess. So that first step was about $1,200. To get us the footers that we need for all of this, which is not bad. So this next step, we've got all our block. We've got regular block, and then we've got split face block. And the regular block's like $2 a block. The split face block's like $4 a block. So it is a little more expensive than just doing regular smooth face block, but I like it. I like the look of it, and that's what we went with. So that was about $1,340 for all the block, all the mortar, all the sand, and then we spent some more, another couple hundred on seal plate wood and bricks, and some foundation sealer and some just random supplies, seal plate anchors and things like that. So I'll put a description, or put in the description down below what that budget came out to be. So I don't remember exactly, but that's just a little bit on the budget and why we're doing what we're doing, to save some money. And we also want to know that we can do these things so that if anything comes up, we can fix anything that we run into. So again, I'll caveat this all with the fact that I am not a block builder, but we're gonna do this because this is our house and we can figure it out and make it work. So, all right, let me show you guys around before we jump into the work. All right, so this is split face block. If you can see, it's just got a textured finish there, kind of like stucco. Anyways, I like the look of it, so that's what we went with, and that's what's on our current house. So that's what we're matching it up with. I did have some trouble matching up the gray. The same manufacturer actually, I don't know, changed their materials and processes or whatever, so they were several shades lighter, so I had to go with a different manufacturer, and it seems to match a little closer, but we'll see once we get it side by side and installed. We may have to go back and stain it, but we'll see. It might be a close enough match where we don't have to do anything. That's the split face block. We've got some ridge vents, sorry, not ridge vents, just foundation vents here. We've got 6 of those that we'll place around the top portion of the foundation so that we get ventilation in there. Here we've got, this is our corner blocks. So in the corners of these, you have to have, you want that texture on 2 sides so that you can take care of the corner. So we'll have a few of those on that part, and then the columns are made entirely out of the corner blocks to get the texture on all sides. So that's what those are. And then we have we've got our sand. This is, I think he said, I think 1.5 tons of sand. So 3,000 pounds of sand, he said would be enough. So if you guys are trying to do this on your own or things, these companies will help you out. They know, they do this every day. So you just call them up and say, hey, I'm not sure how much mortar I need or how much sand I need. You can also Google it and do those things, but they're all nice guys and they usually help out. So just call them and ask. They said 3,000 pounds of sand. And we've got 8 bags of the type S masonry cement and to mix up for the mortar. And then we've got the smooth block, the regular concrete block here. And this is going to be for the first layer or the first course of block that we do down here, because you're not going to see that block. It's going to get covered with fill, the dirt fill up to the edge of it. And we also have to put a foundation sealer around these because the block will actually absorb moisture. So you want to cover this up where it's in contact with the soil. So anyways, this will be the first course, and the inside piers where we don't care about the appearance of things like this. This is more split face block. And then over here we've got our mixer. My buddy from Southpaw, thank you for letting me borrow this. He kindly lent this to me so we can save some effort on the mixing portion of this. Never done this before, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this will make things easier. And that's just a simple, just cobalt electric mixer. Back here, we left all this on the trailer just because, I don't know, we didn't want to unload it until we needed it. So we've got our steel plate wood. This is all 2x8, and we got different lengths to accommodate the banding that'll go on top of all the block. This is your interface between your foundation and your house, or your foundation and your porch or whatever that is. And we've got different lengths to accommodate. So that's all that. We've got our foundation sealer right here. This is just APOC water shield roof and foundation coating. Just what we grabbed that at Lowe's for that. And then we've got, I think it's 150 brick, just regular modular brick that we'll actually use that in the top layer of block around the foundation and piers to basically dam up the top layer so that we can fill that with mortar, because you need to have the entire top layer solid with concrete. So that's what that's for, and you'll see that process later in this video. So that's what we got. Let's see, tools, different tools that we have. We just got a wheelbarrow. Tyler's probably gonna use that to help him with some mixing stuff, probably put the mortar in that so he can shovel it into the mixer. We've got a couple pans for our mortar to place around. It may be that Tyler's just mixing and I'm just putting the block down. We'll see how it goes. Maybe if he's keeping up, then he'll do some block work also. We'll see how it goes. Shovel, of course. We've got some trowels. And here's some other things that we purchased. These are seal plate anchors. So basically these will go, the block won't, oh sorry, this block will be good to show. And we'll basically have these like this every 6 feet around the perimeter and in the columns. And what this will do is you'll put your seal plate 2x8 over top of this, and you'll bend this down and nail it in. And that's what holds the seal plate down to the block. And we got a big brush for putting the foundation sealer on. Some nails, and we got levels. We got a torpedo level, a small level, big level, more shovels, all this stuff. All your typical stuff for doing this kind of thing. So, all right, so we've got all of the lines strung out for where all the block is gonna go, with basically the edges and the corners. So we wanted to do this so that we could just know where we're putting everything and know that it's right. So this has all been measured out. It's all been leveled out with the laser level to make sure it's all in plane. Each course is in plane, but basically we just put these stakes in the ground and supported them laterally to make sure that they don't move, and strung it from basically each course layer of block and ran that over to here, making sure it was level. And we measured our distances. This is 21.5 feet exactly here, 21.5 feet exactly over there, and then we've got 30 feet and 1 inch actually is our width there. So we took those, measured them, made sure everything. We also did our diagonals, made sure our diagonals were right. I think that's 444 inches, which is like 37 feet, I believe, and make sure that those were good, so to make sure everything was square. We put a screw in at the, you want to zoom in on that, Tyler? Basically at the corner, we just marked the corner with a screw. We just screwed that in, or hammered it in a little bit and screwed it. And so that marks our exact corner that we want. Because of the step down, we've got our first line rolling even with that foundation and then here. So we'll get 1 course of block from here over, and then the next course, of course, would be all the way across on top of that. So we've got some blocks we have to cut for. I think we need some half blocks, I think on these before the step up, because of the dimensions and how it works out. So you'll see us doing some cutting. These columns, we didn't string these out or plane these out, so we don't know exact dimensions to the columns yet. But we'll probably work on this and then lay that out and then do that. Or we could just use the laser level and tape measure to just rough it in. The exact placement of your piers is not as critical as your foundation wall like this is, because there's a lot of play that it'll have, because it'll basically be a 16 by 16 pier, and all you're putting up there are, in this case, 3 2x10s. So I think that's it. So with all that, we'll probably explain some things here and there. We'll have some videos in it, but a lot of it's going to be time lapse. So enjoy. All right, let's get to work. We got Tyler mixing up some concrete here, or some mortar mix. He's doing 1 shovel of the masonry cement to 3 shovels of the sand, and mixing water in with that to get the right consistency. And just do that over and over until you get how much you want. Probably go to whatever the capacity of this thing is, and then dump it in our buckets. All right, guys. Well, we're about halfway done with the perimeter wall here. And just wanted to give you guys a quick update. You can see we've got this end wall done. We've got our one vent in, and we've rounded the corner on both sides. We've got this corner maybe a third of the way done, and then we've got the whole other back side to do still. Of course, we still got the columns and stuff, but wanted to give you a quick update and show you around real quick. All right, so here's a quick update. It's been a couple weeks. It's actually taken a lot longer than we were thinking, and we're working like half days because it's been pretty hot, but we've got most of the wall done here for the perimeter, and we went ahead and filled in all the top layer here and put our anchors in. Our anchors are set into the mortar there on the top layer, and those are set at least 6 foot maximum spacing. And then on the ends, they want them 12 inches max from the ends of the boards for our seal plate. So we'll put the seal plate on after we finish the rest of the wall. But that's the spacing for the anchors. And right now, what we're doing is finishing up this crawl space entry door space here. We had started on both sides, and we need some half blocks for this side. You can see we made a couple of errors here, where we needed to basically shim a couple of small, very small thin blocks because we messed up on our dimensions a little bit, but we've got that corrected. So this spacing here will be exact for that door, and we'll get that set. But right now I wanted to show you guys real quick on the half blocks how we're doing that, because it's not always going to work out to be perfectly spaced blocks. So you can cut half blocks and space it out to get your spacing right. So what we're doing, because we don't have the big expensive nice saws or anything, we didn't want to rent one because we're going slow. We've just got a circular saw, and what we've got is this nice concrete cutting blade here, and this works great. I think this is the DeWalt one. It's like 40 bucks. And just put that on the circular saw, and it cuts through the center blocks really well. And so we basically just cut through each side. If it's, we actually use that to shim some of the first layer because our footers were a little bit off, and that works well also. It's just you miss the middle chunk, so you have to sort of chisel that off. But anyways, for this it's pretty easy, so I'll show you that real quick while Tyler does that. And that's it. There we got half block. So that'll fit in on the side there, and it'll be good. All right, so I wanted to show you guys real quick just how we put the mortar on. It is kind of a pain to get used to, and we're not even doing it how the professionals do it. A lot of times we're just using our hands with the gloves, smacking it on. A lot of times getting it to stay on this is pretty hard. And again, it has a lot to do with the consistency of your mortar, and each time we do it, we seem to get that different. So we don't have that, really down yet. So anyways, we do what we have to do to make it work. But basically, they say in all the videos that you'll watch, basically you get some, and this is a little bit dry. It's been sitting here for a little while, so probably should wet it, but it's good enough. Anyways, you want to just pat it down, and it helps stick to the trowel. And then the professionals will do this thing where they're like that, and it'll all stick. And again, this is probably needs to be wetter. Yeah, it's definitely dry, but they'll do that and get it on the edges, and sort of works. But a lot of times what we've been doing is just sort of getting it like this, and we'll just drop it down, which takes longer, but sometimes that's easier. And then this part to get it on the, get it on the side here, we've sort of just been spreading it, getting a thin layer on there. And you get that thin layer on there, and it's easy to make that bite and stick on there. And then it's easier to sort of layer that thick, basically by just putting it at an angle and trying to get that to bite in like that, and then sort of getting it on top. Anyways, you just want enough so when you smash them together, it smushes out and you've got enough mortar in there. So that's basically what we're doing. So we'll just get the rest of this one on. But it's kind of a pain, again, because we're not doing this every day, so we're not professionals, and we still haven't figured it all out. But a lot of times you'll put this on here and you'll get a little bit too much, and then the whole thing will fall off, and it's so annoying. But anyways, we'll get it. And again, if you don't smack your trowel, it'll just fall right off when you flip it upside down. See, it just falls off. Anyways, we're not professionals at this, but we'll get the mortar in there like we need and smash it in. So that's basically it. You just want to make sure you got enough mortar in there to fill it. We should probably add some water to this mortar. This is terrible. Then we just set the block, and this is our half block that we just cut. We'll set that in there. I like to sort of touch it up to the mortar that's in there, but in this case we're trying to line this up perfectly so that this is a nice wall like that is for the door here. So we're not going to tap it in too much. So in this case we're going to try to tap it down before. And again, if the mortar was a little runnier, it would help it sink down, but thicker helps you get more structure or stability to it if you need to build up the mortar thicker or whatever. So anyways, we're trying to line up to our string here and get that level and square. Sort of tap it in. We've got our level over here. So we're just trying to line it up with that, and mainly you're going to be checking to make sure it's not tilted front to back, or this way, because that's harder to tell because we don't have a string running this way. So you want to check that, and right now it needs to be tapped a little bit more on the front. So we'll try to lean that in a little more. And it's not super critical on the middle layers, but the top is definitely, you want to make sure that top is as level as you can get it for your structure to sit on. So but that's basically it. Then we'll basically wipe these and make sure everything lines up good. Sometimes a little bit fill in the cracks if you got any little gaps up there. Try to make the front look nice if you can. On ours, we ended up with some pretty red looking sand, so it's putting a pretty brown tint to our mortar. So if you care about that, pay attention to the sand you get, because it will tint the mortar that you're using. So it's actually not going to match our current stuff, because our current stuff is pretty gray, but it's whatever. It's fine, and we'll deal with it. So that's that. That's putting some mortar on and adding a block. That's pretty easy. Just spread it on. Again, like I said, sometimes we just used our hands, because the trowel is like something that you have to get used to using. But a lot of times building it up, it's easier to do, just throw it on with your hand. But anyways, that's that. All right, we'll keep going. All right, so we've got all the block work done. We finished up those front columns as you just saw, and we're now going to set the seal plate and put the strap the anchors down. We've got these Simpson strong tie galvanized 10D nails, and those will hold the straps down. Basically, just we're going to go through, and we've got these all sort of temp set up, and we're going to go and mark all of our positions for the holes. We're going to drill holes through so that these straps will fit through. And then you basically just fold these down and nail it in place. That's just one way. You can use bolts, anchor bolts, or a number of different things, but this is the way that I wanted to use for this, and it's what they did for the other part of the foundation, so we'll just replicate. So anyways, we're gonna go through, drill all that, and cut our boards to size, get them all on, hammer those on. We're gonna do the same thing for the piers and the front. Piers inside here and piers in the front. And then we will be moving to painting, sort of painting. We'll waterproofing the bottom of the foundation. Anywhere that the ground is going to contact the block, we want to put waterproofing so it doesn't, so it resists the moisture soaking in a little bit. So we'll do all that, and then we'll be done, and we'll wrap things up. All right, let's do it. right, so that's a wrap on the block foundation, all the work up to the seal plates. So that's the foundation. On this stuff, what comes next is the floor system, putting the girders and the floor joists, and that's your floor system. But we're actually gonna pause on the big part, and we're gonna move to our decks. We're gonna go and work on the front porch and the back deck and get those in place, and then we will jump back to this, just because we wanna go ahead and get decks out there so we can enjoy them for the summer and fall coming up. And but here you can see we've got it all painted, sorry, not painted, but weatherproof on the bottom, of course, where the soil will be in contact with the block. That's to keep moisture from seeping in. And you can see the seal plate all the way around, and the anchors are all nailed in for all the crawl space there and the piers. And so that's all set. So we're glad that's done. That took us about 2.5 weeks, but only about 8 days of work. Some of those were half days, some of those were full days. But it's just me and Tyler mostly working on it together and knocking it out. So a lot of hot days. Today's a hot day, I'm sure you could tell. Trying to wrap things up and be done with this. But like I said, the decks are gonna come next. So be on the lookout for those videos. We're gonna run the decks on the back, and it's gonna swing around the side, and then we're gonna work on the front porch. Just the porch part. We won't actually go to the roof structure till later, but so that's all coming up. We did also hit 300 subscribers, so thank you all for watching and tuning in to the videos we have. I appreciate all that. I appreciate all the comments, feedback, likes, all that stuff. So I really enjoy providing this for you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching all that. So keep up the likes, keep up the comments. It helps the content do better and get distributed out to more people. So yeah, as usual, like, subscribe, share, and enjoy. God bless.